Plus.
We're coming up on 7:59 on a foggy and slow Tuesday morning drive. This is the live look from our Rose City Sky Camera, looking down on what may be a fender bender here on the Rose Quarter on northbound I-5. I can't see it because it's somewhat blocked here from the freeway overpasses, but you can certainly see the slowing here on I-5 northbound, working your way over the Markham Bridge. And of course, the fog, one of the issues this morning. Here we are on the east side of Vancouver. That's I-205 traffic running thick on that southbound drive. And some of the other drive times really starting to swell a bit now. We're up to 36 minutes on I-84. Rod, that's from Marine Drive and Troutdale to the I-5 split.
And the fog itself has become more widespread and in many cases more dense than it has been all morning, as we're now seconds away from 8 a.m. Here's a look at the State Capitol building, or not a look at it. You can't see anything, 45 degrees, so that's dense fog in Salem. Here's dense fog. That should be the interstate bridge about right here coming in from Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront. Temperature 44. We expect to clear out of this and have a sunny 65-degree afternoon.
Oregon remains united in the fight against this unwanted, unneeded military intervention in Oregon.
Right now on KGW Plus, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals rules in favor of President Trump allowing the deployment of the National Guard to Portland, but Oregon Governor Tina Kotek says not so fast. Plus,
there are people who are simply afraid of being in a public space like this.
As the Trump administration continues to crack down on immigration, one of Oregon's largest food banks says it's also noticing a drop in families coming through their doors. Then,
marijuana is still a Schedule I narcotic, same as cocaine and fentanyl and heroin.
the Supreme Court is set to decide if regular cannabis use is enough to bar someone from owning a firearm. And later,
it hurts, like we have put so much work and effort throughout this whole year, and it's over.
it is over, Julio. The end of a great run by the Mariners. They fall to the Blue Jays last night in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. We'll have a recap of last night's season finale. The 8 o'clock hour of sunrise starts right now.
good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney, and I know the names of these guys too. That's right up there, that's Chris McGinnis.
Hi.
Right over there, down there, that's Rodney Hill.
Hello.
Chris has the traffic, Rod has the weather. Rod goes now.
All right, here we go. Showing off the Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. The coast, a beautiful day. Reminder, there is a sneaker wave warning up today and tomorrow. That means if you're at the beach, never turn your back to the ocean. And these waves can quickly come in and produce a hazard. It should turn out to be a sunny day. Right now it's 42 and we're expecting temperatures in the 60s. The problem inland is fog has become widespread in more areas than not. Can no longer see our state capitol. It would be right here. This is our live camera down in Salem looking at the Capitol Mall. 45 degrees, dense fog there. We have dense fog areas around the Portland area coming in from Vancouver as well. 55 at noon. Assuming we have sun by noon, we'll get up to about 65 this afternoon. But getting into that time of the year, sometimes the old forecaster gets fooled and the fog doesn't clear out the way we think it's going to. But Chris, we have a plan, and the plan is for developing sunshine.
That sounds like a good plan when we get there. But in the meantime, it is foggy. It's slow out there on the freeways. And as we pick it up with the Rose City Sky Camera, I can't see it on camera here, but there's definitely something hanging up the drive here northbound, coming off the Markham Bridge up towards the I-84 interchange. Meanwhile, east side of Vancouver, it's foggy, it's slow. This is I-205 at the SR 500 on-ramp. Slow and steady says it on that side of town. Door number 2 shows us the drive through Tualatin. That's pretty thick as well. So I'm going to show you the drive times, and just bear in mind, we are in the heart of our morning commute now, so we expect them to be up, but these are up significantly now. Almost 40 minutes to get you in from Troutdale, nearly 30 minutes to drive on the Sunset from Hillsborough, and last but not least, your trip out of Clark County. Pretty thick on I-5 right now, guys. It's 32 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
All right, thank you, Chris. Getting back to our top story this morning, in a 2-to-1 vote, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the Trump administration allowing the deployment of the National Guard to Portland.
The majority ruled a lower court restraining order blocking deployment didn't give enough deference to the president. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live outside the ICE facility. And Thomas, this legal battle seems far from over.
Yeah, far from over, and still a lot to be determined here, China. Attorneys for the state of Oregon and the city of Portland are both asking that the Ninth Circuit have a 10-judge panel review this decision by the 3 judges. Meanwhile, Governor Tina Kotek says that National Guard troops for now still cannot be deployed here in Oregon.
Right now, until the district court acts on the second temporary restraining order, National Guard members from Oregon, or from other states for that matter, cannot be deployed.
So she mentioned a second temporary restraining order that's in place blocking the deployment of troops. Monday evening, lawyers for the feds filed a motion to throw out that order. The restraining order was implemented 2 weeks ago in response to the Trump administration's attempts to send the National Guard to Portland. The feds argue troops are necessary to protect the ICE facility and deter protesters. In response to Monday's decision, Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield said the ruling would, quote, give the president unilateral power to put Oregon soldiers on our streets with almost no justification. He's urging the Ninth Circuit to support a review of this case, and experts say those reviews look a little bit different for this court.
Normally in all other circuits, that's the entire judiciary, but because the Ninth Circuit is so large and has so many judges, they usually limit it to 10, and usually those hearings take place in San Francisco.
And one legal expert that we spoke with say that there's not really a precedent for this kind of thing, though she does expect a decision to be made in the next couple of days.
And Thomas, clearly state leaders are pushing back here. So what are Portland leaders doing?
Yeah, well, China, Mayor Keith Wilson is reiterating his stance that he's had for weeks, standing in solidarity with Oregon state leaders. He also says he'll use every lawful tool he can to prevent federal overreach, in his opinion. Guys?
All right, Thomas, you mentioned the mayor there. As Thomas wraps up his report outside the ICE facility, we also have more on the mayor in this next story. In an opinion piece published by Newsweek, Mayor Wilson described the ICE facility as, quote, a disaster waiting to happen. The mayor said a recent visit to the facility showed overflowing trash, faulty air conditioning, and overworked staff. He added those conditions could lead to an accident, an injury, or even death, noting reports of in-custody deaths at ICE facilities in other parts of the country. He ended the piece by challenging U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to rethink her department's immigration enforcement strategy. So far, though, there's been no response to the mayor's comments from Secretary Noem or anyone else with Homeland Security.
If you notice any extra noise in the sky this week, it's likely because the Oregon Air National Guard is conducting night training. However, that training is not related to the Guard deployment. The F-15 mission will last through Thursday. The Guard says that the training allows its pilots to meet Air Force requirements. Flights should wrap up by 10 o'clock each night.
We have more details this morning about the woman who died this past weekend after getting caught in a sneaker wave on the Oregon coast near Siletz Bay, south of Lincoln City. Investigators identified her as a 43-year-old from Corvallis. There were multiple reports Sunday afternoon of someone who got caught in a strong current. Rescuers did respond, but by the time they reached her, she was already dead. Authorities say the woman was pulled hundreds of feet into the ocean in just a matter of minutes.
Gresham police are asking for help finding a man who went missing from his care facility. So around 4 o'clock yesterday, 55-year-old James Robinson right there was reported missing from the facility on Northwest Riverview Avenue. Robinson has a seizure disorder and other medical condition and does not have his medication with him. The staff at the care facility also say that he may not know how to get home. But Robinson is 5'7" and about 145 pounds with gray hair, blue eyes. Police say that he's familiar with TriMet and may have traveled to the area southwest Morrison Street. Anyone who sees Robinson should contact police. Meantime, after 6 days of looking, Forest Grove police have suspended their search for a 78-year-old Thomas Whiteman. Police do not believe that foul play is involved and say that the case has now been turned over to Forest Grove detectives. Whiteman was reported missing on October 14th after he left his home near Valley Crest Way and Circle Crest Drive. He briefly called police on his cell phone, saying that he'd fallen and was unsure of his location, but attempts to find him using cell phone data were unsuccessful. Anyone with information should contact Forest Grove Police's non-emergency line. The plan to build a new earthquake-ready Burnside Bridge is now delayed indefinitely. County leaders say that's because they're unlikely to get federal funds to move forward with the project. Now there's no set start date for the construction. Now that is after it had already been pushed back from 2027 to 2028. And the project price tag is almost up to $2 billion from the original $900 million estimate.
first time in 32 years, the Blue Jays have won the pennant.
And with that, the Mariners' World Series dreams came to an end. They lost to the Blue Jays last night 4-3 in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. We will go back to the beginning because the beginning of the game was actually better for the Mariners anyway. Josh Naylor, first inning, the base hit right there, scores Julio Rodriguez, and with that, Seattle was up 1-0. The Blue Jays would tie things up, but then in the third inning, Julio again, Rodriguez untying things with that solo home run, putting the Mariners back on top. Shall we go to the fifth inning? We shall, and that's where Cal puts one in the seats, blast it. Cal Raleigh, a little cushion right there, putting the M's up 3-1. Things seemed good. Only 9 outs to go to get to the World Series, but then in the seventh inning, Toronto's George Springer turned this game upside down. A 3-run shot in the seventh gave the Blue Jays a 4-3 lead, and that wound up being the final score.
Disappointed. We gave it our all, but, you know, they played a great game, and go beat the Dodgers.
It hurts, but I don't want that to take away from, like I said, I'm proud of the guys in this room. I thought we fought all the way to the end. Like I said, it was a great group of guys, and I loved every single one of them.
Cal Raleigh speaking there. Again, the Blue Jays will get to move to the World Series now. They'll face the Dodgers in the series that starts on Friday. I don't have all the numbers right in front of my face, but I want to say that last home run that Cal Raleigh hit gives him the most home runs ever hit by an American League player in one season when you combine regular season with postseason. I think he wound up with that one with like 64, which is the most ever, again, by an American League player in the history of the game.
Unfortunately,
not enough.
Yeah.
How goofy, they win the first two in Toronto, and everybody's feeling great. And then they go on to win only, one of the next 5 games.
Take our love for the Mariners, if you do love the team away, for just the fact that all played out like that made it a great series. It was unpredictable.
Oh, true, yeah.
Every time you thought a team had control, they didn't.
Yeah, no, yeah. You're right. And baseball is baseball, man. One swing of the bat and everything changes. And then, the pitching staff for the Jays, you got to give them credit. They struck out the side in the 9th, for crying out loud. Here's a look at the Oregon Veterans Home camera from the Dalles. Been talking a lot about fog, but when you get away from the valley, it's a beautiful morning and mostly sunny across our state. So here is the Dalles out in the East Gorge, and you can see the sun kissing the fall foliage there. That's 84 looking at the downtown area. 39, chilly start. You have light winds. Gorge winds will be light today. Temperatures generally in the 60s coming, and just beautiful sunshine. Here's the valley. Dense fog coming across the Columbia into North Portland. Dense fog out in Hillsboro. By dense fog, definition a quarter of a mile visibility or less. Then there's dense fog down around Salem, which is a quarter of a mile. And here is the Rose City sky camera. So there's I-5. You can tell that's definitely fog, at ground level, maybe slowing up the drive a little bit. Certainly foggy over the Moda Center. Temperature in Portland is at 44 degrees. Here are the other numbers. 41 in Sherwood and Tigard and Happy Valley this morning. Oregon City 37. There are some cooler spots. In fact, McMinnville's at 36 and 40 down in Corvallis. So assuming we have sun by noon, I think we'll need the sunshine out of the fog by the noon hour to reach these forecast highs of mid-60s, maybe even 67 in some spots of the Willamette Valley and up through Kelso Longview. 60s at the coast with sunshine today. 70 in Bend, and that's mainly clear. Going to be a beautiful, beautiful day for you folks. Winds will be light across the region. So you got the day today, looking to get some sun, 60s. Tomorrow, shower threat in that mid to late afternoon. Would be brief if we get anything at all, so most every Wednesday's dry. Really, the next time it's just raining is Friday, Saturday, and we have the impact alert for that strong system coming in that will give us periods of heavy rain and breezy winds both on Friday and on Saturday. Chris?
Rod, thanks for that. I want to take you out to the Coast Range right now. Just getting word from ODOT of a serious crash on Highway 47, and at last check, in the last 5 minutes, Highway 47 right now is closed at milepost 73. That's right in the vicinity of Stubbs Stewart State Park. I'm working to get more details on that, and I'll bring them to you just as soon as I have it. Back to our freeway drive. It's foggy in some cases and really slow in most cases this morning. That's I-205 out of Vancouver right now up near SR 500. That's a slow commute. I-84, of course, slow through the Gateway District, and we'll zoom down into the Gladstone area. You can see that 205 drive. Plenty of stop and go action here rolling down past Highway 213 and on your way to the Abernathy Bridge. Right now, the drive from Main Street to the Fremont, this is the slowest game in town at this point. 34 minutes gets you in from there to the Fremont Bridge. China?
Thank you, Chris.
In a British TV first, I'm actually an AI presenter.
So British viewers got a shocking reveal at the end of a news special. The host that they've been watching all along wasn't real. Coming up, a stunning look at how AI is changing jobs, including journalism itself. Then later.
Vice President Vance is in Israel today looking to hold together the Gaza ceasefire as President Trump signed a new deal with Australia, and the White House itself is becoming part of the day's headlines. I'm Alice Barr in Washington with the latest coming up.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
And now to a question that a lot of people have been asking. I actually don't ask this question because I don't want to hear the answer. But the question is, will AI take over my job?
Maybe, because UK's Channel 4 aired a special broadcast last night hosted entirely by an AI-generated news anchor. NBC's Christine Romans has more details about the on-air stunt.
It seemed like a normal news report until the end.
Because I'm not real.
Last night, UK audiences watching a show about AI taking jobs, stunned to learn that was happening in front of their eyes.
In a British TV first, I'm actually an AI presenter. I wasn't on location reporting this story. My image and voice were generated using AI.
Before that point, the documentary had shown the host reporting in multiple settings, explaining it was part of a deliberate on-screen stunt to show just how convincing artificial intelligence has become. The dramatic reveal, just the latest demonstration of AI's growing influence.
3 seasons and a podcast.
Last month, Hollywood responding to the debut of a 100% AI-generated actress, Tilly Norwood.
You are suddenly up against something that's been generated with 5,000 other actors.
But fears of AI's growth going beyond the screen, with many American workers worried about the very question posed in that documentary.
So we want to find out, will AI take your job?
One major AI company, Anthropic, has said the technology could eliminate up to 50% of entry-level jobs as it improves.
At some point, we're going to get to AI systems that are better than almost all humans at almost all tasks.
But many saying the technology also creates jobs, and a recent study showing that benchmark app ChatGPT has not upended the labor market. But during the massive growth of AI, a reminder of just how realistic it's becoming.
But you don't want perfect, do you?
I would assume not if they're watching.
That's why
this
we're
one.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
We're here because you don't want perfect.
Yeah.
Should we go ahead and reveal to the audience what we know?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wow.
After 9 years on the Sunrise Show, I believe, maybe close to 10, what you've been watching is actually an AI-generated weather forecaster.
Did you really think Rod Hill was this short for real? Come on.
We're talking about the Terminator 2 plot line. I don't know if you guys watched Terminator. Terminator is a great movie.
Yeah.
The sequel is actually, in my opinion, better. And they just talk about like machines
Yeah.
taking over at some point. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's where we're headed.
I wonder how long my career will be.
3 years. I've already thought about it.
Well, there's a positive spin. I'm gonna go to the weather wall. I'm gonna tell you about the positive spin. I've talked to Matt about this, our chief meteorologist, and we're gonna roll that out this winter. We will announce after every winter storm, at the conclusion of every winter storm this coming season, if it was AI forecasted or if Matt and I forecasted the storm. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Friday, Saturday, impact up for a heavy rain coming. This still looks to be the wettest and the coldest of the fall systems we've had so far. So what we're doing by impacting Friday and Saturday as KGW Weather Impact Alert Days is simply saying this is significant weather that will absolutely, if not cancel some of your plans, definitely impact. And you will need rain gear. The rain will be coming and going throughout both days. Could be dry early Friday morning before the rain gets going. Forecast models are still showing 2 to even 3 inches of rain at the coast. That would be the wettest storm of the fall so far. And still showing up to an inch to maybe an inch and a half for the valley. That would be the wettest of the system so far. This past weekend, for example, PDX picked up 0.8 of an inch of total rainfall. All right, we have clear skies up top. Of course, Portland is under the fog, but this is what's up. If we can get through the fog, we'll break out into beautiful sunshine. That's our Mount Hood Timberline Lodge camera. And really, once you get to the Cascades and head east, it's a beautiful morning. This is Canita Hot Springs Resort over in Warm Springs. So they're off to a beautiful start with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures will be in the 60s to even 70 in Central Oregon when you get down into the Bend area today. Wow. But here we are in the valley, trapped under the fog, which is keeping temperatures chilly, 44 right now. That's our Rose City camera. 45 in Salem, also trapped under the fog. I just want to show you our next rain chance for Futurecast. This is tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock. Heavy shower Astoria. Maybe it holds together and gives us just a brief touch of passing rain at some point tomorrow afternoon. So we get out of the fog today. If we get out of the fog, we'll have sunshine at 66. Shower threat tomorrow and Thursday, but here's the impact alert with the heavy rainstorm coming on Friday and Saturday. And here is Chris McGill.
That looks soggy. All right, let's get you out the door. An update, or a reminder, I should say, in the Coast Range. We just got word about 15-20 minutes ago that there's a crash and a closure on Highway 47 right now. ODOT reporting that is closed at milepost 73. That's near Stubbs Stewart State Park out in northern Washington County. All right, back to the freeway drive. Highway 26, slow and steady, climbing the hill towards Sylvan. Here's I-5 through Tualatin, the northbound I-5 commute. Of course, that's pretty thick as well. And as we look at the drive times, our trip across the Columbia River is still quite slow as well. 31 minutes gets you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
The most significant structural change. Not talking about change. Changes happen all the time at the White House, like every 4 to 8 years, right? There's change at the White House. We're talking about structural changes to the White House this morning. The first significant change in almost a century there is happening because construction is underway to demolish part of the East Wing to make room for President Trump's new ballroom.
There's that and more. Here's Alice Barr with the latest.
A busy day in a White House under construction as crews begin demolishing part of the historic East Wing facade to clear the way for the massive ballroom addition President Trump has long touted to host more guests.
This was the ballroom, and this room holds 88 people, and the new one will hold 999 people.
The White House says the president and private donors will cover the estimated $250 million cost. But the renovations reverse an earlier Trump pledge not to touch the original building, and many Democratic lawmakers are slamming the move. While inside the White House, President Trump and the Australian Prime Minister signed a new deal Monday to invest in rare earth minerals, critical to producing advanced electronics and defense technologies.
In about a year from now, we'll have so much critical mineral and rare earths that you won't know what to do with them.
The move seen as a bid to counter China, which has a near monopoly on extracting and processing rare earths and has moved to curb exports amid high-stakes U.S.-China trade talks. At the same time, Vice President J.D. Vance arriving in Israel today, joining efforts to hold the fragile Gaza ceasefire together after violent flare-ups. President Trump upping the pressure on Hamas to stick to the terms and disarm.
They're going to behave, they're going to be nice, and if they're not, we're going to go and we're going to eradicate them.
The president again underscoring that would not include U.S. troops on the ground. We're also tracking the legal fight over President Trump's National Guard deployments to American cities. Illinois is asking the Supreme Court to keep blocking troops in Chicago, while in Portland, Oregon, an appeals court has now sided with the White House, allowing the National Guard in against the state's wishes. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And coming up in our next half hour, we do take a look at what's happening outside the ICE facility near Portland's south waterfront after the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the National Guard can be deployed to Portland. Then at 8:45, the latest on the heist of the century as French authorities intensify their manhunt for the thieves that stole the French crown jewels from the Louvre. Right.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW+. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW+. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
Good morning, I'm China Green. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has essentially cleared the way for President Trump to send National Guard troops to Portland. In a 2-1 ruling, the two judges, who are both President Trump appointees, said that they were pausing the restraining order issued by a lower court, in part because that judge didn't give enough deference to the president. Monday's ruling, however, only deals with one of two restraining orders blocking the deployment. Headed over to Rod Hill now for a look at weather.
Fog, our #1 story here in the valley and up into southwest Washington. Good morning. This is our Salem sky camera. It is set where the Capitol is here, but you can't see it, 45, so that's obviously dense fog. We hadn't been able to see the interstate bridge coming out of Vancouver for the past half hour or so, so this visibility has really improved. It's 45 degrees from the springs at the waterfront. We are expecting sun by noon. If we get sun by noon, we'll warm up to about 65 at 5 o'clock, and this will go on to be a sunny day statewide. And that's your forecast for this Tuesday.
Well, we haven't talked about Taylor Swift for about 3.5 minutes, so let's talk about it right now.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. A vintage T-shirt worn by Taylor Swift sparked a huge fundraising campaign for a California aquarium. Swift wore this Monterey Bay Aquarium Otter T-shirt in her official movie, The Official Release Party of a Showgirl. The shirt drew so much attention from Swifties that the aquarium started reprinting it and is selling them for $65.13. Whoa. That's a nod to Taylor's favorite number, 13. Sales of the T-shirt will support the aquarium's Sea Otter program, and so far these shirts have brought in more than $2.3 million.
Isn't that crazy? Wild that the fan base that she has.
Yes.
And what they will do for anything Tay-Tay.
They spend money.
Yeah, if you want to get something done, you get Taylor Swift's fans on your side.
Yes.
And let them know that she's on board.
Yes.
It's done.
Taylor, we would love to have you come join the Sunrise Show for, a minute or two.
Remember when Oprah had her book club or booklet, and you just, if she read the book, then the sales just went nuts.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, same thing. All right, we have a live camera at the coast. We've been showing off the valley fog, but again, you get away from the Willamette Valley, the I-5 corridor, and it's really quite lovely. So here is blue sky awaiting from our Shook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City, 41, where temperatures are expected to be in the 60s today. There is a sneaker wave warning at the coast today and tomorrow. Here's the valley, and that's how foggy it is in Salem. You can't see the Capitol building really at all, 45 degrees. All right, assuming we have sun by noon at 55, we'll warm up to about 65 at 5 o'clock a little bit later today. Light winds. It is clear up top. We just need to get rid of the valley fogs. We'll see if we achieve that or not. It is sunny this morning over Mount Hood, and then central and eastern areas are all sunny. You folks have light winds. It's going to be 70 in Bend today. So what a gorgeous day that's going to be. 63 out in Pendleton. Our 7-day forecast. Overall, we're still pretty quiet through Thursday. Today, we think we have a good chance to clear out. Tomorrow, in the mid to late afternoon, there may be a brief period of some passing showers, but most of the day tomorrow would be dry. Thursday could just simply be cloudy, but I am including a rain chance because I'm not sure. And then we have the impact alert for that strong rain system with a front on Friday and a second one on Saturday, bringing periods of gusty winds at the coast, heavy rain and breezy winds to the valley. And now it looks like by Saturday night into Sunday morning, sticking snow at Cascade Pass level. And that is your update. Here is Chris McGinnis.
That sounds like fall, like legit fall. All right, let's get you out the door. I want to start off down in Marion County. We've got a crash. Rod showed you the sky camera from the state capitol. You can see the fog here on the ODOT camera as well. We've got a crash now down near Turner Road. There's some significant local slowing now getting around that. Also in Washington County, ODOT dealing with a crash that has a section of Highway 47 closed right now. This is at milepost 73 near Stubb Stewart Park. Again, no further details at this point. I'm working to get them. As soon as I have them, I'll bring them to you here on Sunrise. Our freeway drive is busy, about as busy as it gets, and in the fog, we're certainly still slow. Out of Clark County, you've got 31 minutes to get you in from Main Street, and the drive in from Wilsonville this morning, not as bad as yesterday, but still not good. 42 minutes now, Wilsonville Road to downtown. Guys?
All right, thank you, Chris. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has essentially cleared the way for President Trump to send National Guard troops here to Portland.
In a 2-1 ruling, the two judges, who are both President Trump appointees, said that they were pausing the restraining order issued by a lower court, in part because that judge didn't give enough deference to the president. They also said federal officers are stretched thin at the South Portland ICE facility, with local law enforcement unwilling or unable to support them. Meantime, the dissenting judge, a Clinton appointee, called the majority decision not only absurd, but one that, quote, erodes core constitutional principles. Monday's ruling, however, only deals with one of two restraining orders blocking the deployment.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz was outside the ICE facility near Portland's South Waterfront this morning.
He has more for us on what activity that we've seen in the area since yesterday's ruling came down.
Well, this morning outside the ICE facility in South Portland, it's still very quiet. We've seen a couple of protesters begin to shout at agents at the ICE facility, but still very little protests. Still, Monday night, we spoke to protesters who say they're going to stand their ground here outside the building even after the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the Trump administration as they push to deploy National Guard troops. Now, Portland's been on the president's radar for quite some time now after a number of violent demonstrations outside the building in June. At the time, protesters circled the building and broke glass on the doors. At least one federal officer was injured. The feds responded with pepper balls and rubber bullets. Witnesses say some people hit, though, weren't actually involved in protest. But it wasn't until September that President Trump ordered the deployment of the National Guard. State and local leaders pushed back, saying the administration exaggerated what's actually happening on the ground. And while the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the Trump administration on Monday, another temporary restraining order continues to prevent troop deployment for now. If National Guard troops are eventually deployed, they'd be trained in crowd control, but they couldn't make arrests. Still, protesters say regardless of what happens, they'll continue to push back.
There's really only so much fear that you can put in people before they just are numb to that. There's only so much tear gas you can give us before we're immune.
Again, it's unclear when or if National Guard troops will be deployed here outside the ICE facility in Portland. In the meantime, though, President Trump is eyeing another West Coast city, turning his attention to San Francisco, where he also is looking to send National Guard troops. In Portland, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
We also talked to a local legal expert who told us that yesterday's ruling may embolden the Trump administration to send more troops to more places. Willamette University professor Laura Appelman, you see her right there, says the Ninth Circuit Court's decision gives the president wide discretion in determining when troops should be federalized and when they should be deployed. Appelman also pointed out that dissenting Judge Susan Garber's opinion focused heavily on the balance of power between state and federal governments.
She's arguing that this order of federalizing the National Guard is taking away Oregon's right to decide how to use its own state militia. And of course, this is also, I would say, a primary aspect of this case, but where does the federal government's power end? Where does the state's power begin?
Professor Appelman says the president's attempted use of the National Guard in this way is really different than what we've seen in the past when states or cities have asked for that help. So this could all lead to more legal challenges between local and national jurisdictions. As for next steps, Appelman says she expects the Ninth Circuit to decide on whether this case warrants a review by a larger panel of judges in the Ninth District, and she believes we could hear more on that in the next few days.
Concerns over immigration enforcement appear to be affecting some local families' willingness to seek assistance. The Northeast Emergency Food Program, which is Oregon's busiest food pantry, is reporting a 25% decrease in the number of families served during the first half of the year. Program staff say some families may be hesitant to pick up supplies due to fears about immigration enforcement. Managers note that they are also mindful of the safety and privacy of volunteers, including U.S. citizens who speak Spanish.
There are people who are simply afraid of being in a public space like this. They feel vulnerable. Even if they are here legally, if they have all of their papers, they're just afraid to be in a place because of the risk of detention and unknown consequences.
Despite the decline earlier in the year, the pantry has recently seen a modest increase in new clients, reflecting continued demand for food assistance. Staff believe that this may be tied to recent adjustments to federal food aid programs. The Supreme Court will consider whether people who use marijuana can legally own guns.
KGW's Devin Haskins breaks down this case that has caught the attention of many legal experts.
On Monday, the nation's highest court taking a look at firearm possession and drug use.
The case before the court centers around a Texas man who was arrested and charged for owning a gun while possessing marijuana and admitting to being a regular pot user. An appeals court threw out the conviction, saying that the ban to own a gun was unconstitutional.
I think this will be a very interesting case because, many states, obviously Oregon has very liberal laws on the use of marijuana, but yet it is still illegal.
Laura Appelman is a professor of law at Willamette University. Marijuana is an illegal drug federally, despite Oregon law allowing its recreational use.
Now, marijuana is still a Schedule I narcotic, the same as cocaine and fentanyl and heroin.
The Trump administration favors Second Amendment rights and wants the case reinstated. Government attorneys argue that the ban is a justifiable restriction. The question goes to the broader issue of risk for residents who legally use marijuana and own guns and the likelihood of facing prosecution. Aaron Pelly is an attorney that specializes in cannabis law.
I would consider it highly unlikely. Part of that is because it just has to kind of come into the awareness. And I think that, but it's something that every firearm purchaser is aware of.
On the federal form to apply for a license, users are asked about drug use. In Multnomah County, on the sheriff's concealed handgun licensing page, it's one of the requirements.
That I don't think that the government has a very good case here. I think that they're very, very likely to get this taken out.
If the Supreme Court sides with the Justice Department, experts think this could put gun owners that use marijuana at risk.
I think what this does, though, is raise the question of what does it mean if you live in a state like Oregon, where it is fully legal by Oregon laws to use marijuana.
Devin Haskins, KGW News.
China Green, I give you the honors of tossing over to our friend Chris McGinnis.
Chris?
Hello. Oh, it's my turn. All right. Good morning again, guys. Let's go ahead and check out. This is on a more serious note. We are in a very thick morning commute out there right now. 30 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough, 36 from Troutdale. The I-5 drive from Wilsonville, not as bad as yesterday, which was terrible, but it's not good. It's about 45 minutes now to get you in from Wilsonville Road. Here's a live look at some of our freeway cameras. The fog that was an issue earlier this morning is beginning to lift a little bit, so that's good news, but still slow out there. 30 minutes right now to drive across the Columbia on I-5. That's from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. And farther south, down in Marion County, a crash in or south of the Salem area near Turner Road has one lane still blocked. And guys, we've got about a 1.5 mile to 2 mile backup on I-5. You can see it's quite foggy on that Mill Creek camera in Marion County. Back to you.
Yeah, the commute continues. Thank you, Chris.
They're calling it the break-in of the century.
The break-in of the century. We're talking about thieves making off with the French crown jewels from the Louvre in Paris. Coming up on Sunrise, a leaked report that highlights the flaws in the museum's security.
Hey, with the holidays coming up, so many of you writing to me saying, I need new luggage, but I don't want to break the bank on it because who wants to spend so much money on luggage, right? Well, I found the answer. It's this Mirage ABS 3-piece luggage set. Really cool because you get the big one, the big check luggage, then you get the medium, then you get the carry-on size too. And you can see ABS, what is it? It's basically a hard plastic, very durable. It's inexpensive, but it ain't cheap, okay? If you know what I mean. It's good stuff. It's water resistant. There's a combination lock on these too, which I really like. You can use it or not use it. And this is the other really cool thing. Let me just stand up for a minute. So it comes up like this. These roll really well. You know how a lot of these, like after a couple of uses, you're back to doing this? This works and works and works. And watch how it rolls. Ready? I mean, just real easy. Well, it hit my son's sneakers, but that thing will just keep on going. And there's something else I want to show you as well. It comes in, different styles. You got the zebra right over here. And it nests inside, right, which is cool. So you have that, big one, medium one, small one. This is for kids. Look, it's an eye mask and it doubles as a pillow as well. So the 3-piece luggage set for you today, it's normally $399.99. Today, $199.99. That's 50% off for the 3-piece luggage set. And for these as well, nearly 50% off. Just scan the QR code on the screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are learning more about how the heist at the Louvre in Paris unfolded over the weekend.
The manhunt for the suspects is intensifying at this point while work continues to recover the crown jewels that were stolen. NBC's Molly Hunter brings us more from Paris.
This morning, the hunt is still on for the thieves and priceless missing items from the Brazen Daylight heist. This video is still the only image we've seen of the operation in progress. Widely shared by French media, a man in a high-vis vest, perhaps disguised as a maintenance worker, inside the lavish Apollo Gallery. Sunday morning's heist has captivated, well, everyone.
They're calling it like, the break-in of the century. I mean, it's something like out of, Danny Ocean and George. I didn't see George Clooney yet.
As questions mount about the massive security failure at the most visited museum in the world, a leaked audit report to French media finds that the Louvre routinely deprioritized security upgrades. The justice minister saying the whole incident gave France a deplorable image. As the prosecutor's office updated the exact timeline, minutes after the Louvre opened on Sunday, a truck mounted with an extendable ladder drove up to the south side of the museum. Prosecutors now say the exact time was 9:34 a.m. Two thieves entered the Apollo Gallery inside for just 4 minutes. Americans Jacob and Holly Barker were inside the gallery at that very moment.
We heard the banging on the window, and at that point it was almost like it sounded like construction. We weren't sure if somebody was trying to get in or out. We just knew that we didn't want to be there to find out.
The thieves snatched 9 priceless items, part of the Royal Napoleonic collection, but on their way out, dropping a diamond-encrusted crown, now a key piece of evidence.
The thieves came down the same ladder. There were motorbikes waiting, and they made their getaway through Paris traffic.
By 9:38 a.m., they were gone. Experts say it's now a race against the clock, and the chances of finding intact pieces diminish with every hour.
It's absolutely a race against time. It sounds like an old adage that the first 48 hours are key. Gems could literally go anywhere. They're so hard to trace.
That was Molly Hunter reporting from Paris. Rod Hill is on the weather deck this morning.
I don't want to be overly critical, but doesn't somebody in the security office have a list that says no window cleaners expected today? So go see why that ladder's up against the wall by the window?
I'm getting a call from the security right now, Rod, and they're they're saying, hey, weatherman, stay in your lane.
I mean, what I'm saying makes sense, though, does it not?
It seems, it's hard to believe that they pulled it off in the fashion they did. Absolutely.
It's the old saying, just act like you belong, right? And nobody questions it. All right, we're up here. It's a pretty morning because I'm staring at the West Hills in front of me, seeing all the beautiful fall foliage. We're up here on the KGW weather deck, brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. Good visibility here at street level, but obviously the low clouds are hanging, and they are definitely kissing the top of the West Hills, where folks up there, I can tell, are definitely driving in the fog. I want to jump to our big headline, and then I'll come back to today. So we have the impact alert up for Friday and Saturday for that strong rain system. I mean, it's not the storm of all storms, but it will be the strongest and in terms of being the wettest and the coolest overall of the fall rainmakers that we have had so far. And we think your plans both on Friday and Saturday, if not canceled outdoor plans, will certainly be impacted. I mean, it's pumpkin season weekends, right, where folks will be out at the pumpkin patches. You'll definitely be out in occasional shots of heavy rain coming through. Weather models continue to show this is mostly Friday, Saturday numbers, 2 to 3 inches at the beach and 1 inch to maybe over 1.5 inches of rain in the valley. All right, back to what we're seeing right now. Here's I-5 looking north up toward the Moda Center, and you can see the fog. Temperature is 44 degrees, so the question now is, when do we get out of the fog? We know it's clear up top. And as you look at temperatures, 43 in Salem, 45, imagery suggests that the fog is almost as narrow of a strip as I-5 itself, meaning when you get up just an elevation at all, either west or east of the I-5 corridor, you start to clear out of this. So that would make me think that once we do start to get some clearing, it'll pop pretty quickly. Futurecast just shows we have a mostly sunny afternoon coming. This is that rain chance tomorrow. This is early afternoon. Could be a heavy shower up around the Long Beach Peninsula and Astoria. And then if that holds together, it's a quick shot of a passing light shower band through parts of the valley late tomorrow afternoon. So if that happens, it would still mean most of tomorrow is simply dry. And there are some clouds Thursday that may or may not come with a chance of rain. So our valley forecast today, we get up to about 65 degrees with sunshine coming. We'll need sun by noon to get up to our forecast highs. And here's the 7-day. There's the impact alert for that 2-day rain event on Friday and Saturday, followed by Sunday showers. And another system coming in, picking up Monday rain. And that is your update for now. And let's go back indoors to Chris McGinnis.
Rod, as I look at the cameras and the drive times, it looks like the drive has peaked and the fog has peaked. So that's some good news here. So check out the numbers that are starting to come down a little bit, with the exception of this. Troutdale into I-5, still a pretty thick commute on I-84. That's up to 44 minutes. The rest of these numbers, although still pretty thick, are getting a little bit better. All right, let's take you down to the Salem area in Marion County. Again, a crash on I-5 south of Mill Creek. It's down near Turner Road. It looks like there still is one lane block there, so there is some local slowing getting around that. And I don't have any more details to share with this crash in the Coast Range, but I can tell you that Highway 47 right now remains closed in Washington County near milepost 73. Guys, that's near Sub Stewart Park. As we get more details, we'll bring them to you.
Yeah, a lot to keep your eyes on this morning, Chris. Thank you for that. Meanwhile, we're talking about the KGW Great Toy Drive here. We're not ready to kick off the drive just yet, but we are looking for people to help us collect toys this year. You can sign up online. KGW.com/toy is the place to go. And when you sign up there, we will send you the very official KGW Great Toy Drive collection kit.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
In our top stories this morning, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has essentially cleared the way for President Trump to send National Guard troops to Portland. In a 2-1 ruling, the two judges who are both President Trump appointees said that they were pausing the restraining order issued by a lower court, in part because that judge didn't give enough deference to the president. Monday's ruling, however, only deals with one of the two restraining orders blocking the deployment. The plan to build a new earthquake-ready Burnside Bridge is now delayed indefinitely. County leaders say that's because they are unlikely to get federal funds to move forward with the project, and the project price tag is up to almost $2 billion from the original $900 million estimate. Oregon has begun notifying residents enrolled in the SNAP program that they won't receive new benefits after the end of the month. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek says the Trump administration directed states to halt distribution of November's SNAP benefits because of the government shutdown. SNAP serves roughly 1 in 6 residents in Oregon.
7-day forecast. The band of fog I said a moment ago seems to be fairly narrow up and down I-5. That would increase confidence that we're going to be able to bust out of this. Assuming we have sunshine all afternoon, we'll warm up to 66, still tracking that strong rainstorm on Friday and Saturday.
That looks really nice. The drive getting better with the exception of that. I-84 westbound, that I think only tells part of the story. The rest of it is that it's going to take you 45 minutes to get in from Troutdale. We've had a couple of issues on the Banfield, small fender benders, disabled vehicles. They've all been cleared, but the drive's still really thick on that side of town. I-5 from Clark County, still a 30-minute ride, Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
All right, who all knows about the viral plush toy known as the Labubu?
You say that so well. Labubu.
We've heard it a time or two on the Sunrise Show.
True, very true. Well, here's the deal now. This California bakery has taken the Labubu craze to new heights with a 7-foot-tall creation that weighs around 300 pounds. This is Levan Van.
That's Bigfoot.
Levan Van.
300 pounds? He is big.
This towering work of art is made completely out of bread. You can eat it.
Oh, wow.
Edible. It's a bread sculpture.
That's a good story.
The bakery says it plans to keep this Labubu named Levan Van on display through Halloween week.
Not Levan Van?
Yeah, I just thought the same thing. Why not
French,
Levan
right?
Van?
Yeah, right.
Van is the French word for bread. I don't know what van is.
Anyway.
I know we're done for now, but we'll be back tomorrow. Bigger, better, stronger than ever before, I promise you.